Need to start going through this shit right here for real now. This the what I was talking about right here. The architects.
I pulled this book out.
Oh, this is my physical fitness stuff. Okay. Not in school. The pull and push. Pull down. Okay. Thank you. Types effect. Oh, I'm live. Peace. What's up, God? Just ask to join me. It should be a button. You see it? Namaste. Namaste. Peace. What's up, God?
Chilling. Let me turn this Bluetooth off, get better sound.
Okay. Namaste, God. What's good with you today, man?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Feeling good and having a lot of good conversation with brothers and family. So spirit is definitely charged with this conversation. Much love. Thank you for the invite.
Man, you know what? Now, actually, thank you for actually reaching out and want to correspond. 'Cause a lot of times we will vibe with something in silence, but we won't actually initiate and reach
Yeah.
out to say, hey, man, let's network and politics. So I give you kudos and hats off for doing that part, man. That made me motivated, even more.
So much appreciation.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself, man. I love your name, the acronym GLUE music. Like what's behind that? What does that stand for, mean to you?
Yeah, what glue means to me, is my big thing, my driving thing, growing up under, the teaching of like Panthers and all of our black leaders and everything. Thing I was able to pull out of all of those different movements, which really represented different facets of things that, we're missing in our communities. That unity is
Mm-hmm.
key, so in everything I do and in every purpose, in every area I find to contribute with the overall, helping, for lack of better words, of our people, find that I just tend to be a glue between things that are already there, things that are already existing, glue between ideas, glue between entities and other people doing the work, So my thing is never to take away from the entities that are already there and doing the work, but it's just to kind of create a collaboration between everything so that we all become a body working together, So glue, God, love, unity, enlightenment is how you facilitate that connection between different parts.
Whoa, because as you talking, brother, I'm writing this stuff down because what you said makes clear sense in my mind. So tell me again, what is GLUE? The acronym for GLUE is?
Glue stands for God, love,
Can you hear me?
unity.
Oh, it
Yeah, I
froze.
can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
You're glitching right. No, your phone glitching right now. It's kind of freezing, slow motion. You're like a robot right now. It's buffering.
Yeah. Let me I might switch locations. This one don't work too well.
Okay.
But let's try to tussle with it.
I heard you
Yeah,
said
hear me?
God. No, you
Yeah.
still breaking up slightly.
But yeah, God, love, unity, enlightenment.
Mm. And God, what does everybody call you?
They call me Hakeem. Yeah, call me Hakeem. And it just means wisdom, that's all.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, I appreciate it speaking to another melanated brother who's been on the inside and feeding his purpose in life, especially at the Black Panthers movement. And I like how you don't have one entity. You took several entities and collaborated and made your own. So now it's harder for it to break down because you're not just based on one principle. You have all the principles on top of the universe as well. What kind of music do you produce?
Kind of music I do is conscious music, quote unquote. But the thing about it is, I'm from the South, you know. So you know we got that swag sauce, we got that flow, we got everything like that. So the music is it's a mix between flow and I call it Lupe Lil Wayne. That's a very oversimplification of it, but I come up with very simplistic ways to break down very intricate things. So, it's conscious music, but it's not like New York. I'm from the South, so we gotta have flow. It gotta sound good. It gotta bop. It gotta make you move your head. But when you're listening to it and you're jerking to it, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna catch some gems in it. So that is what I call a ministry. I'm not really a church pulpit guy, you know.
You know what? As you speaking here, I can understand why we vibe because, if I was you, I would put out the same type of music on the same type of frequencies that help reprogram my subconscious mind while we vibing. So we're not defensive, we open hearted. So it's easy for us to adapt and actually transform because your music sounds like very transformative. We said Lupe and Lil Wayne. Like I love both of those because the flow of it, you know what I'm saying? So it's a hybrid of both. So to me, that's super fly and very organic, man. So that's and then on top of that, the icing on top of the icing, you call this your ministry, like that's the wider scope of things. Because ministry don't have to be in a temple we call a church. The church is your body, and you're showing them, not talking about it. You're showing them how to do it your own way, and that's priceless, bro. Yeah, that's definitely priceless. Yeah, that's definitely priceless, man. So, so I know my main things about my mental health. So, what's your ties into mental health that help you become the God that you are to walk up with your brain enlightened and knowledge yourself and coming from the inside out and being super unique? Like what's the fire inside you that keeps that going?
To keep a fire going, first you have to remove what's smothering it. You know. So the first thing I had to do is look at the reality that we're either placed in or created with our minds, depending on what perspective you're looking at it from. And I had to first face the reality that a lot of what we've been taught is misinformation and misdirection and lies. And once I removed that, I had to be committed to not let fear take me away from the reality of that realization. And that becomes infinite fuel when you're looking at the world every day through clear eyes, you know what I'm saying? And not seeking to filter it through anything that would sedate, the discomfort and, dis-ease that would create. And, disease, not to say disease, but that dissonance is the fuel that fuels the fire, that dissonance to say, hey, I'm not going to deny this or try to sedate this, but I'm really going to embrace this and use this as fuel to seek answers. Problems is an opportunity to find new solutions, so that becomes the short story of what really fuels, where I'm going today.
Man, that's hard there because me from listening to what you're saying from the medical physical standpoint, it's something you're doing mental alchemy because you're using yourself to face reality to see what it is, and then you recontextualizing what it is and using that as fuel to burn the fire in the world we live in, bro. That's all the time, man. If you being conscious, that's fuel we get. Like you ain't got to pay for that. You just be conscious and be aware, and it's available. You dig? So that's the beautiful thing about it. It's everywhere, man.
Infinite.
So by you saying that, this is something that I kind of been wrestling within myself to make sense because we spoke about the the unreal reality that our mind is tuned into, that belief system, because we tricked and fooled. So it's like a mental prison that we in, the matrix we call it. And another matrix I realized that I was doing myself was I was calling the subconscious mind adding to the delusion that it was something separate to ourselves, giving a duality, was going to cause all kind of chaos. So I was reminded listening to this dude called the breatharian consciousness, where he reminded me that our actual physical body is the subconscious, that it remembers everything that happened to it. So if I say my body is remembering what's going on, not saying subconscious mind, that gives me my power back and stop putting something outside of me that's controlling me. So now I teach most of my clients, like, let's look at it this way. Your subconscious is not a word no more. We're going to say replace that with your body. Your body remembers the memory. Your body, because just think about when we was in the womb, we were breathing liquid and we were in the dark. So we didn't breathe air we couldn't see. But the body was with us, so remember that. We might have forgot, but the body still remember that. So from creation to now, the body remembers it. But when we're conscious based on the past or future, that takes us from being present. I hurt my finger recently. So by me knowing the body is a subconscious mind, when my finger throbs, it makes me be present. The body is always present. But our conscious mind, based on, like you said, fear or doubt, whatever, it makes us not be present. So when we know being in the body is ratting out the subconscious mind, that's why I practice on that breathing. When you're breathing in your nose and out your nose, it makes you be totally conscious. Now we're getting our power back and not just walking around like zombies, just walking around dead, not being conscious. So how does that sound to you?
It's very breakthrough, man, and it brings the thing to me of iron sharpens iron. You know, learning from different perspectives is very important because it gives us a wider view of what we're really looking at. You know, I was reading a book where it says Success Through Positive Mental Attitude by Napoleon Hill. And it pretty much states something that's already been stated, but that the sum of the whole is more than the individual parts. And I take that to mean that I am an individual part. So by learning different perspectives from other individual parts, it helps me to better contextualize the whole. You know, so definitely new information to me. I ain't gonna even sit on here and be like, oh yeah, I knew that already. You know, I learned that last week. I'm like, yo, that's a very unique perspective. Very unique perspective. And I dig that.
That's super dope, because everybody here has a special power that they have. My special power that was given to me was depression. Depression helped me learn how to heal myself from the inside out. Learning how to suffer in silence, still smile and still perform. Like I'm putting on, I'm being false. I'm not truly happy, but when I go in the world, I have to pretend I'm happy. But in the back of my mind, these undertones that's truly going on is throwing me off. So now I'm not mentally available. So now basically I'm a zombie. So when people kind of conversate with me, I'm not here for conversation because my undertone is trying to keep down this depression or angst that I'm feeling about myself. I only got so many minutes to vibe with you before the true me come out. So that's why a lot of people go to drinking and drugging, the true them come out. They're being phony with themselves. So I'm giving people the platform and the words to express, hey, I'm hurting. Hey, this is how I feel. How can I heal myself and stop just dealing with myself? And with me, dealing with yourself, meaning I'm going to turn my head and hoping it disappears. But when I heal myself, I look at it straight up and look at what did I do to cause this, knowing that I'm a co-creator and I create everything in my world, and I take ownership for my shit and I don't play the victim. I play the victor. I'm my own hero. I'm the villain and the hero. It depends on what consciousness or what costume I put on for that day. So now I'm not wearing no costume. I'm just being me organically. However I show up, that's me, bro. Like, I'm not trying to hide it. I'm not trying to cover it. I'm being me, my organic self. Wherever I go, I'm butt naked with clothes on.
Yeah. Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
Self-acceptance, man. I would say I like the fact that you call that a superpower. I would say then my superpower it would be anxiety. And you know, They say depression is focusing on the past. They say
Yeah.
anxiety is focusing on the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now I'm able to deal with people who have worries and fears about the future.
Mm-hmm.
And like, here's how you make it through that anxiety, you know? Yeah, so it's very, yeah, yeah. Naked with clothes on all day.
Cause see, bro,
But
this
love
what I
makes
look.
you vulnerable, man. Love makes
Say it
you very
again.
vulnerable. I say love, it makes you vulnerable. You know, ultimately, when we made these decisions to heal ourselves, we gained a empathy and a sympathy and an empathy for those who are going through the same things, you know. So to now walk that path of love for those people is going to be a certain level of vulnerability that's going to come with that, you know, and that's the whole naked feeling, you know, from my perspective, you know.
You know when you just said that, that took me back to this movie Airbenders. You familiar with that?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so in the Airbenders, what I appreciated was the gods turned themselves to fishes and made themselves very vulnerable. So they wasn't trying to be these big monsters. I'm gonna be vulnerable and say you respect me for my vulnerability. And when I take that
Mm,
move and apply it to my life, it's like with me being a god, I don't have to have my chest pumped up or go through that ego costume that I gotta have on what a man supposed to do is. I release that. And now that I'm flowing in that God consciousness and balancing my masculine and feminine energy, the entity within my body, they can no longer feed on that because the ego is a body. It just don't have a physical body. It's an entity, and it feeds on low
mm,
vibration. It's almost like it's a meat eater, and I'm now became a vegetarian. It can't vibe
sir.
on my energy, so now it got to lose weight and it got to fall back. But with that, I don't try to get rid of it because I have to accept myself whole, regardless of how I show up. So, like we said, the
Right.
whole and the part. I don't have no parts. I have the whole me, but certain parts of me show up. So I disconnect from that linear standpoint, like it's duality, is good, bad, up and down. No, we are one. It's an energy that we're performing that shows a certain mental behavior. So I'm not judging that, but at our truest level, we are energy, and energy is the same on a quantum field. It all starts as a small ripple. So let me go back to that ripple and see what's causing that effect of it and change the rippleization of it and kind of move like that way, dealing with the cause and more solution based, not problem based.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely, when speaking with people, is I like to get to the subconscious of why they say or why they do the things they do.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot of times when you start speaking with people, they instantly think that you're gonna start attacking the things they do or the things they're saying, and I begin to ask questions that get into the subconscious behind why they accept the certain viewpoints that they have accepted,
Mm-hmm.
why they permit the certain actions that they commit. And it's like, well, hold up, bro. I'm just talking about the actions of what I'm saying. And I'm like, brother, let's get to the root. You know. So yeah, the subconscious is definitely to be focused on, and I like the idea that you have of bringing the subconscious as close as the physical body,
Mm-hmm.
because that's very unique. Like you said, we're used to putting the subconscious far off, so bringing the subconscious as close as the physical body, that could really change some things if we're able to understand the algorithm on that perspective.
And what you just said algorithm, right? So once
Yeah.
again, so that even go deeper. So we gotta look at programming.
Yeah.
Like so now if we look at the body has been a subconscious mind, but it receives the programming of our actions. So each time we do something, we're programming our body to do it naturally. Point in case, if
Mm,
you wake up every day at like 4:30 5 o'clock, after a while you don't need your alarm clock. It's naturally done.
right.
When it's time to
Right.
eat, your body says time to eat. So if I program in my body from a different way, understanding that the body holds a memory. So I gotta connect back with my body. I need to get out of my mind and get in my body. So when I get in my body, I'm taking back my power from my conscious mind. Because my
Yeah.
conscious mind, like you said, it's either in the past give me depression or in the future give me anxiety. I'm not present. The
Right.
body the body is always present. It's our mind that takes us out the present. So once we understand, like, look, let me get back in that mind body connection. And when I do that, now I'm back in the driver's seat. Movie I love, man, it's called Inside Out. It's like a little animated. You seen that?
I
Inside
gotta
Out.
see it. See it inside out.
Listen, bro, it talks about, and I love animated cartoon because it gives you life situations right in front of you. So
Mhm.
Inside Out, it's about this little girl who's on. She had to move, but inside of her is 5 different personalities at a control panel. So it depends on what she got going on, what entity is at her control panel. I'm like, whoa. So it's showing what world she got built. Like, I seen that movie, I'm like, wow, this movie about the subconscious mind, what's going on inside of our head. So once we look at that from that entity and stop taking it so literal, we can free ourselves and be conscious about what's going on. So like certain movies, Jim, it helps me. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I'm on the path right now, the path that I'm on right now, which is it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. But the path that I'm on right now is, you know, one of the things that I've studied with mental health and that I deal with mental health is the trauma that was produced by time. And when you learn that the DNA holds trauma generationally, you know, we're still holding all of the trauma even from slavery. You know what I'm saying? That transgenerational trauma, you know. So one result of trauma is that it fragments the mind. And in fragmenting the mind, it also fragments the soul. You know, so now you have these like you say, these 5 different parts of you, or these different parts of your nature, your consciousness. And now my endeavor is to bring all of those parts of consciousness into one being. And as I do this endeavor, I find that each of these consciousness have created their own worlds, their own dimensions, their own timelines even. And now you have to go into these worlds and go into these timelines and solve what's keeping this fragment of yourself in that timeline, free that fragment of yourself to be incorporated back into the whole. So now it becomes how many fragments of yourself you have and how much time do you have. But that's my endeavor now, to bring all of these fragments into one whole so that we can start being whole entities in this dimension, you know. And this master's class is difficult. It's difficult.
Hey, listen what you saying. How about if I tell you that you already there? It's just the way you looking at it. Because let me show you why. Because I am the sum total of what I believe, right?
Right.
So we talking about being whole, and if I'm thinking I'm fragmented in pieces, that's contradicted within myself. If you look at yourself, I'm already whole, but I'm looking at myself as fragments. Your work is done. It's unlearning what they told you as if you separate. So basically what you're doing is you ain't got to learn nothing. Just unremember what they told you. That's all you're doing. I know what I remember to forget that. So remember to forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real, man. Remember to forget
I
that.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Iron sharpens.
Remember, and even with that, like I seen a Bruce Lee quote, and I understand that we're energy. This body is just the vessel we choose to flow on, and words are so powerful that our body takes it for real. So if I say something so small, my body takes it literally. So when we say iron sharpen iron, I love that, but I think we're more like platinum sharpening platinum. You know what I'm saying? It's a higher alchemy. Like that old, I call it that old slave thinking. Like it's in the DNA. They told us our DNA couldn't change. That's a lie. Our DNA changes through heartfelt emotion. So if I get in my heart chakra and start sending emotion to my DNA, it changes and rewires. But when we sit and meditate, it's in our heart chakra. That's why like when they do beats with 808s, that's a low frequency. That low frequency is the root chakra, deal with sexuality and aggression. So if I'm in sexuality and aggression, I can't be in my heart loving. And I can't be in my heart loving, in my body subconsciously is sending survival. It's sending survival frequency to my brain. So now I'm in survival mode. I wish the motherfucker would try me. I don't want to be in that. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at that, what frequency am I allowing to affect the water that's in me? What am I allowing to affect my soul that's going to my soul, that's throwing the frequency of my heart? Because it shows the heart sending a higher frequency to the brain. We got a CAT scan going on. They got to turn your heart down to hear your brain. So the brain ain't shit. It's the heart that sends most signals to the brain. The brain sends to the heart. That's a fact. So when we realize that in our meditation, I do affirmations, visualization, and that nostril breathing, because now that nostril breathing put me in that prefrontal cortex. I'm no longer in survival mode. I'm no longer in that ego's possession. Now my consciousness is not kidnapped by lower vibrations. And when I realize that, I know the body holds a memory, I'm reforming my DNA each moment I breathe. I'm breathing in love. I'm exhaling love, unconditional love. Because we was raised in condition. I would love you if you do this. I would love you if you do that. So now our subconscious mind is putting out the same thing. We got to do unconditional love. And then the ego going to tell us it's difficult. No, it's not. Only thing difficult is just coming from a place that I know, moving to being vulnerable, saying I don't know. Because now we're worrying about being judged. But it says, well, once you release that, like, you know what? I never say I don't. I never say I don't care. I just say I don't mind. I don't mind when people talk about whatever. So now I'm not allowing no low vibration energy to get access to me on no levels. Kidding, joking around, like I don't play. Like I got security at the door. If you're not a high vibration, you're not getting in, period.
Facts.
Yeah, like ain't no joke. Mental health, yo. Yeah, cause like you say, you deal with anxiety, I deal with depression. So if I allow a thought in my mind to last more than 3 seconds, it takes 10 hours to get out of that energy.
Yeah, I was seeing what you were saying, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. We don't have. Let me ask you a question. You ever had a concussion before?
Nah.
You ever hit your head? You ever hit your head hard before?
Yep.
That's a concussion. That's a concussion. And what happens? The reason why I say that because a concussion is a blessing and a curse because it ignites the pineal gland, the God seat, and we can become more enlightened. So now we have become a channel for all entities to influence our consciousness. You follow me? So that's why our mind is there. That's why we float. That's why we open to different inspiration because our spiritual valve has been open for the longest, but we're not knowing it. So we feeding it the wrong foods, the wrong vibration, and so that's what happened. We're being kidnapped from a subconscious level, not recognize it from our outside situation. So you being in music, we can kind of shift that by dropping that 432 hertz on the back end and clearing that sexual energy and aggression energy. And now we're grounding with the proper energy as it moves through our sacred chakras, all the way through our crown chakra, clearing that old trauma from our slave ancestors. We can go back farther than that. We can go back. Let's go back before we were slaves.
Yeah.
We can go back before that. Just imagine we were God and goddesses.
Yeah.
We had our own land, our own ecosystem. We didn't have to have religion because we knew God was within. So it wasn't none of that. So just imagine how we living like that for thousands of years. Other people come telling us we living wrong and shift that. That where that mental trauma came in. Now we're being treated less than animals. We're being treated like dogs and we being beat, we being whipped. In America, because slave ship in Africa, they actually invested in us. They let us use the plows, the horses. We can run for office. They even gave us a weekend off. Over here in America, slave ship was totally different. So they got a misinterpretation of what we are. But DNA level, we thinking that's all we are is slaves. So we got to go before we were slaves. Let's go to that. Let's talk about that. And then we can throw slavery in there. But let's come from when we were God and goddesses and everybody came to us for nutrition, for medicine, for healing. So we got to be truthful about who we are and not let that veil of who they want us to believe that we are. That's a bunch of bullshit. We can't go for it.
That's super powerful, brother, because, doing the one thing I was thinking about yesterday and talking about yesterday, I'm a counselor, so I look at like King Von and, the youth that's passing. We just lost another one yesterday. And I noticed that they have given us this context that we're almost demonic in nature, so we make these songs like, I'm a demon, I'm a demon, I'm a demon, and just the words to the song, he was like, if I say I love you, I mean it. So when they kill the people I love, it turned me into a demon. And from my perspective, I'm like, man, like my thing is that we are people of love. The soul itself is a vibration of love, So I don't see if you lose someone you love as that making you a demon. I see that as maybe a misinterpretation of how to handle, that situation, or maybe a lack of understanding of self. But the fact that we're so willing to contextualize our actions as demonic or wicked is what we've been taught. It's how we've been programmed to see ourselves, instead of saying, okay, it's harder for us to see ourselves as gods if we're always seeing ourselves as demons. You
Wow.
know,
Say that again. Say that again, brother.
it's very hard to see ourselves as gods when we're always seeing ourselves as demons.
Mm.
You
Wow.
know, so it's undoing this subconscious programming that we have been given about who we are. You know, and once we're able to do that, then we will be able to make proper decisions as to how to act on these emotions. Because imagine, you know, a youth counselor, you know, our younger selves, imagine you really love somebody, and then that person is killed. And instead of saying, how am I going to look at this situation from the perspective of a God? Well, how am I going to look at this situation from the perspective of a demon? I'm fit to go get him, and then you end up getting killed.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
wanna try to fix that amongst our youth. So it just goes in line with, you know, where the train of thought is going for the conversation. And that was something I was thinking about just yesterday, you know?
Oh man. You know what, brother? It's a it's a system that they got us
Yeah.
in. And then we know who own the music industry. And it's a
Right,
requirement to put that type of content out if you want to get signed. You know, I
right.
came from the music of KRS-One,
Yeah,
Goody
true.
Mob. You know, they was giving us soul food literally, but
Right.
we was being programmed and didn't realize it. Now they understand how powerful the music is, so they're taking that from us. No way you gonna sign it has to demoralize the women. You have to give up your masculinity, and we gotta talk about, like I said, demonic things. So
Yeah,
so when that happens, it's you sacrifice your soul for worldly possessions, and now you got to become a puppet and produce what they want to do. And by our kids not having melanated heroes that they can see and touch and smell that look like them, they refer to the TV that fakes a image of actually what it is. You yourself, you're a youth counselor, and mama said I was dealing with you for the longest. It's a stronger barrier to deal with that because money rules over everything. If I'm hungry, I ain't got no fly clothes, I ain't got this. What I'm gonna do? I hear what you're saying,
right,
but what about I'm hungry? You know, what about this? So it's a double-edged sword when it comes to what we saying makes sense, but reality is my lights off. I'm hungry and
right.
I'm tired of walking every day. So what I'm gonna do? Like, so I get it. So now we gotta come together. Like, okay, what's the solution? I came over
Right.
the era where they had something called Beta. Beta was a summer program where the kids could actually work and get finances. So now they're working in finance. They're not breaking into houses. They're not stealing
Yeah,
cars. But they stopped that program because they
yeah,
need America tool is prison,
yep,
probation, and student loans. You feel me?
yep,
So
yep.
we're not trying to better people. We want to give you this illusion. If you do this, you're gonna do that. But basically, it's fueling our economic industry. We have to take our power back and become like that Black Wall Street again. Become our entrepreneurs and start
Yeah,
putting our money in a system and actually promoting us and get out of that. Because right now we're under a mental spell that our
right,
blackness is something to hate. A black something
right,
that you don't want to be because they can't be it no more, so they want us to hate it too. But we don't know no
right,
better. Like
right.
I'm born in '73, so we had black consciousness, we had the Black Panther, we had Marcus Garvey, we had all of them. Right now they don't have that, so the kids are under that illusion, and they're not gonna read nothing, not like they
Yeah,
posted, not gonna look on YouTube. So we have to do what we're doing now, show them about the Marcus Garvey, the
yeah,
William E. Du Bois, the Muhammad Ali, you know what I'm saying, the Jack Johnsons, going
yeah.
back to Africa and showing them actually who what they came from, and that
Right,
way it not gonna wake them up because it woke me up. So you gotta wake them up from the inside out and help them get back in their body because right now they being kidnapped. They don't realize it.
right,
Walking
right,
zombies almost, man.
right. That's what woke me up, man. Taking that initial trip to Ghana
Hmm.
and seeing people who look just like me living in peace and in unity, and you can stand at the top of a hill and look down on one of the towns, and you can see everybody moving like waves of water.
Mm.
It's like a unified consciousness of people moving together, and
Hmm.
we was coming from doing some work, and we were walking home at like 3 in the morning. And he said, I want to show you something. He said, we can catch the little trains or whatever, but or the little buses. But he said, let's walk. I want to show you something. So we walking, and he points to a corner store, and there's an old elderly lady outside the corner store at 3 in the morning selling sodas and juice. And he points, And he says, you know how that elderly lady is able to be out here at 3 o'clock in the morning still selling everything? He said, because we don't have crime, you know? And I told him, I said, I didn't realize up until this point that I had no idea that black people could live together in peace. I didn't know that that was even an idea that I held until I saw blacks living together in peace and realized that I didn't think that that was possible being from where I was from. So that was just one of many ways that, you know, seeing our, and they all look just like you know. We're taught that, you know, they're so different. Africans are so different who we are. But when I went over there, people walking up to me speaking, you know, speaking a language, speaking Swahili, speaking Twi. And the people who were with me was like, oh, he's from America. He's not from here. And I'm like, oh, my God, like, you look like my brother. You look like my cousin. You look like my family. Oh, my God. You know, so it really blew the walls open on my mind. And that was the initial spark that really kept my fire going when it was going really, really low. And, you know, when your vibration gets low enough, you become susceptible to that hypnosis. Yeah. And I was in it for a couple years. So I had to like, whoa, wait a minute. Where have I been, you know?
Yeah. So you said you are a youth counselor. So, wow, what got you into that?
Well, you know, my family's been in taking care of children since, you know, for a long time. So, you know, if we're talking about things are transmitted over the DNA, that's something that's definitely in my genetics. From my great-grandparents to my great-grandparents to my great-great-grandparents, we've always been in some way involved with taking care of children, you know. But the thing that got me into that is number one, I come from like being heavily rejected, meaning that I've always been like this. Even as a child, I've always had this kind of way of thinking. So as an adult, you're praised for that. But as a child, it's like, dude, you're weird. You know what I'm saying? So I noticed that it's going to sound, you know, I noticed that animals and children would love me. You know, and I always felt like they could see me, but others couldn't. So at the age of 11, you know, I would go and help my mother at her daycare, and like all of the children would run up to me and jump on me. And I'm coming from a place where people were jumping on me, they was fighting me, they was trying to challenge me. So it always made me feel like they could see me. And then as I got older and began to study, I said, okay, as children from the ages of newborn to 7, our eyes are still open and we still have our gifts and abilities. It's not until we get past the ages of 5 or 7 that these things pretty much become suffocated. So my thing was, what if we were able to keep this fire that's in the children burning until their adulthood, to where they're able to keep it going for themselves? That, in a nutshell, you know, is what got me into the youth ministry. I said, okay, most of the adults that I see around me are those who let their fire go out as children. And now to reignite that fire, you got to go through all of these blankets and things that's been placed over you to keep that fire smothered. I say, but I want to teach these children to keep that fire burning from their youth, because that's what's going to light the way for the future. And then seeing that target of everybody who's attacking us, you know, the Willie Lynch letters, the target of everybody who's attacking us, it's not us.
Right.
It's the children. So that was a few of the major things that really, you know, got me into, you know, youth. I was going to say youth ministry, but youth ministry is in my head now. Youth counseling.
Hey, but you know what, though? When you said that, I wrote that down, and it makes sense, because let's look at youth from a metaphysical standpoint.
Yeah.
Everybody that's hurt, you said, I understand, from age 0 to 7, 0 to 8. Yeah. But at that time you're hurt, you make a promise to yourself it's not going to happen no more. So your youthhood has been taken from you. So even I got people that's 7 years old, I'm still mentioning to the youth in them, to their child that's actually hurt, because we hold on to that and believe we're hurt. So the youth in us have to be reaffirmed that it's safe, it's cool, and what I'm saying with different, I got to release an old program to keep me safe. If I'm in survival mode, I can't be in love mode. So I got to go back to that, to whatever age I was hurt, and heal myself from that, minister to myself, give myself unconditional love from myself. I do something called an inner child healing session where I go to the inner child, go to the age that we hurt, and say it's okay, and just kind of love on myself. And once we release that, we get that youthful joy on the inside out that we just happy because the sun is up. We just happy because we at the bed. So when we connect back to that, we become more available for inspiration. I'm not caught in my mind trying to pretend like I'm not depressed, praying like I'm not anxious. So now I'm open for what you said. When you said youth ministry, that made plain sense because I actually want to talk to the youth inside every grown person and tell you it's okay to be okay.
Yes, sir.
It's okay to hurt. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get to the child enough because we all that. Whether you believe it or not, let something don't go our way. We turn to a 4-year-old so quick, we go to pound everything. Yeah, so we got to connect back. That's all. Remember.
Facts. That's definitely powerful. And I find it a blessing to be able to get to the youth at the onset of these traumas. You know, it's like, oh, this has happened to me last year. This has happened to me 2 years ago. As opposed to like, and not as opposed, that sounds like, you know, combative, but
okay.
I find it, like I said, a blessing to be able to get to trauma that's only 2 years set, as opposed to trauma that's 30 years set. Trauma that's 30 years set can still be healed. That's why I say it's not in a opposition kind of way, like, you know, one is more healable than the other, you know, or to say that the other is any less healable. You know, you can heal a 30-year-old, you know, by getting into their inner child. At that point, from my point of view, I call that shadow work now.
Yes.
Because now that child done turned into a whole nother entity, and now you have to break through all of these layers to get back to that inner child. It's like when you're able to get to it, like the 2-year mark or the 3-year mark, it's like the child still has that pliability to be like, you're saying, I'm gonna let this go right now. They still have that innocence, you know, and they want to consume that innocence to be like, yes, now that innocence is gone, now you're locked in the trauma that we gave you, you know? So I become like that. We're all connected through energy. So even if something were to happen to me, or even if I was on the other side of the world, you would still have your memory of me and everything I taught you. So now, metaphysically, it's gonna sound, you know, but metaphysically, I now become the protector of that innocence by the energy that I've given you through our interactions.
But man, what you saying makes sense, because what you're doing, that's called, they owning it by energy transference. So by them having energy transference, now what you do, I was in the school system myself from 1999 to like after 2000, and the kid would tell me the words I would say to them in the hallway when they get to do something wrong, they would hear my voice. So I get what you're saying. You become like, you know what, coach, I heard you say, you know what, I ain't do that. Or I would do it because that light inside you shines. And going back to kids, when we're looking at daycare, bro, we got more young melanated young men been suspending kid out of daycare than we do high school right now. So we get them to them at that area, and this coming from I believe Yale did a study on this right here, and they showed the brain interactions, how it doesn't develop by you not being treated a certain way, by you not being taught in a positive way, how the lobes of the brain don't light up. So they know what they're doing. So by the time they get to 3rd grade or 2nd grade, from pre-K all the way up, they so traumatized because we're not dealing with the kids in pre-K. And that's where it starts from, man. Like, them kids in pre-K are the main one we need to actually program, because they still young. They still, like I said, still malleable. We still can form them, but everybody take their innocence and their joy from them. So now they come this dual entity, and now they so just let me just become a so-called demon, because I'm hearing everybody say, no, he's so bad, he can't stand school. He's a little badass. You know what? Fuck it. You saying that? I'm going to be that. So we're programming them, and you don't recognize it, because we were programmed the same way. It's our environment. So we got to deal with the home, the music, the food, the breathing. We got to basically actually, whatever they gave us, we got to give it back, because they ain't doing us no good, bro. We got to reprogram. The system they gave us, they give us high blood pressure, cholesterol, we even got childhood diabetes now. Like when I was coming up,
never heard of that.
So I understand it by their actions. If this country loved us, we would actually save our kids and save our people. They're not doing that. So I don't go by their words. I watch people action. If they're not acting the way I want to do it, I become that change I want to see. by connecting with
Right.
people like you and making videos. So now we become that entity that changes infills in the universe and show that it's possible. And then the universe is going to bring people up to open doors up because we're doing something that actually need to be done at this time. Because these kids come in spiritually connected and ready for it. They don't believe in religion no more. They need
Right.
a spiritual connect. Like, no, they ready already, bro. They already wired, man. So I see
Right.
it.
Right.
They are
It's,
wired. So,
it's great,
um,
man.
yeah. It doesn't matter what area are you in. I'm in Fort Lauderdale myself. What area are you in?
I'm in Little Haiti, Miami,
Oh,
Liberty
yeah.
City.
Okay, so you local. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, Liberty City. Yeah, it's really the ground zero for a lot of the things we're talking about today. One of the ground zeros, many of them, but Liberty City is really one of the ground zeros for a lot of the things we're talking about today.
Hey, man. So with you being a drive away, we definitely need to connect, man. And
Yeah,
I get on your spiritual team, you get on my spiritual team, and we just come like locks in the gate, man. You know,
so
cause it's beautiful, but at the same time too, if I were unconscious, it would be saddening. Like I've done these live videos so many times, and many people like, look, bro, I want to get on live with you and do that. No
yeah,
one's done what you've done so far, and actually make that movement and say something and do that. So when you
yeah,
do it and we get together, then one more person gonna do it. Now there's three. Now we got four.
right,
Now we got five. Now we got six. Now we got 10,000. Now we got 7,000. Now we got a whole hard rock state that we meditating on the same own and we raising the
yeah,
vibration of what's going on. We gotta do that, bro, because
yeah,
their body is asking for that, bro. They want somebody to give it to them. Who else better give it to them? Somebody that look like them, somebody that
right,
smell like them, somebody that can relate
right,
to them. Because your anxiety and my depression made us superheroes, bro.
yeah, for
Like
real.
we really superheroes, man. Like we gotta
Yeah,
look at that. We got superpowers. We have
yeah,
superpowers, and you use them. You don't use them like, oh, yo, what I got. I'm using it to show you that you can use it too if you
right,
connect to it. You know what I'm saying? Like you
right,
got connected to it your way. So that's what we here for, man. Like
right.
that's what
Yeah,
we here for, man. That's what we
yeah,
here for.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Wow.
so how do people get in contact with you, brother? Because you definitely have a wealth of knowledge, and you
Yeah,
definitely love to share. So like, how do people get with you on your own? Because you sound like you're a coach as well too, not just a youth
yeah.
coach counselor, but you just sound like a person that is counsel period. So drop your IG and whatever, and how we can get in contact with you.
But y'all can find me on through this is my music page, you know what I'm saying? So, this page where y'all can, find all the music and where I'll be doing different performances in the area. So y'all can come through, check out my performances. And after a performance, I'm always down to vibe. You might even catch something during the performance. It's always gems in the music. But I'll put it in the comment section if y'all really want to, vibe with me and get coaching from me, that's at Brother Royce. Okay, that's at Brother Royce. Y'all can find me on IG at Brother Royce. And putting it in the comment section now. And from there, we can swap members and we can really talk.
Brother Royce, ROYCE,
ROYS.
ROY, Brother Royce.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
got you. Cool.
yeah.
Um, you might know one of my guys. He rap as well, Gnarly. Know a young guy named Gnarly. He rap,
Nah,
conscious rapper.
I'm sure we'll vibe though.
So listen, so man, as you saying, man, I'm gonna definitely make sure that we connect because he does music. He's super conscious and he's from the Miami area, so I'm definitely make sure that we connect and vibe because y'all have a lot of stuff in common and like I say, platinum sharp platinum, man. I can see y'all actually
Right.
on the track, just like those and
With it. I'm
just
with it.
blessing the soul with them frequencies, man. So I'm gonna definitely make sure that happen, man. Anything you want to speak about, brother? Because this ain't about me. This our platform,
Yeah.
man. Like anything on your soul.
Man, it's just I like the fact I like where everything is going right now. Like I said, I'm glue, So the thing with glue is like I like connecting things that are already there. Um During my life, I've been blessed to have a connection with source. Some people call it infinite intelligence, whatever it may have you. So to that I attribute everything that I know and, everything that, I have grown to be. So having everything that I have, the most important part, I say this, the most important part about the creator is the creator's ability to become human, to come to our level, you know? So with everything I know, I like to have these conversations with brothers such as yourself and other brothers so that I can empower what's already there. You know, empower what's already known, empowers the frequencies that's already there. You know, the most powerful thing is knowledge and enlightenment. You know, knowledge can be like, yeah, I know this. I know this. Yeah, look what I know. But enlightenment is more like, the way this enlightenment has made me feel, I want you to feel the same way. So let's conversate and let me hear what you know and let me feed light into that and let me give you whatever knowledge I have that can fuel that fire so that we can all burn together and become a collective consciousness. When you have a multitude of people that have the same belief or the same agreement, that now becomes a protective entity over those people, which is why they know who we are, they know where they took us from, they know the power that we have, which is why they're always implementing these divisive measures, dividing us on what we know and where we're from and color of our skin and our age, you know, because they know that when a multitude of people believe the same thing, believe on the same wavelength, even the same frequency, it now creates that God. It now creates the whole of that God. God cannot fully be expressed through one person, but the more of us that comes together on the understanding of what God is to each of us. God may not be a man in the sky to us, but it may be the highest version of each and every one of ourselves. At our highest version, we are the perfect expression of that part of God. So as we bring more and more of these perfect expressions together, we will give the world a more perfect expression of who the Creator is. We are the expressions of the invisible God that created everything, melanated beings. So I just want to say more power to you, brother.
Man, wow. Yeah. Listen to you talk, man. It's it's refreshing because I definitely enjoy your vocabulary, how you use your words with invisible this and invisible that. And when we do that, we're showing the universe, hey, I'm here. Like I'm ready to rep you. Like what you got going on. I'm gonna let my walk be your walk and shine through me. And when you start doing that more often as a lifestyle, not just something that people doing, I can feel that's who you are. And now that my vibration has been cleared, I'm only attracting people that are true entities within themselves. There's no more plastic stuff coming around me because the vibration is so high that the fakeness can't come around. You know, it's like you said, that protective cover is like when you being who you are, people know like I can't go around them because of this. So they check themselves by you being yourself. So I want to thank you for being who you are, for being that unique entity, for being the category we call so-called weird. Because to me, weird is super cool.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
I learned that when I got older.
Yeah, but you know, it's now that let me pause for a second. So much download. Let me just breathe. When I began to meditate, I was able to see in my life how I was in the university of life to understand my power, to see certain situations where I was forced into seclusion by myself. Because people understand what I was saying. I'm so weird or think so deep or why this or why that. But understanding I was in seclusion being lessened by the Most High Source to give the message through the flesh and become that conscious being in the physical body that people can touch and feel, like Yahshua and the Melchizedek's walk on this earth right here. Like I look at the Melchizedek, like Jesus is cool, Yahshua is cool, and get twisted. But I go to Melchizedek that came way before Jesus, before he forgot. So I draw from that energy. I draw from the Mayans in Mexico where they came up with the zero. You know, I vibe with stuff that was 2,000 years before 2000 BC, before they programmed the brain. Let me go to the organic source before you start diluting and warning. When you do that, you can't help but vibrate high because you're eating a high vibration food for the soul. So it's going to shake it off. And when you shake it off now. Yeah, so that's part of it. So when you shake it off, the body is a magnet. It's going to draw to it what it needs for a spiritual team. It's going to draw to it a spiritual forces. So when you connect them, like, why not? Like it makes
Yeah.
sense. I'm allowing myself to be led by the Spirit, to flow with abundance and wellness, to connect with other entities that have a certain part of the team that can't say. I might not be able to say it, but you will say it to get to somebody else, and that's what's important. Getting the message out there. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to us building like a choo-choo train, because I look at myself as a locomotive and you're a locomotive. Both have an engine. We put two engines
Yeah.
together going the same direction. You can't help but pull that weight, you know. So
Facts.
there was a freestyle, bro. Like I said, I'm looking forward to actually vibe with you in person, or having
So
some mastermind group, put something on paper, and actually see how we can save our babies. Like if we
yeah.
plant vegetables, if we plant anything in the world, we got to protect our seed so it can grow and manifest into that full blossom. But if we don't, we're going to get rotten fruit. We're going to get bad soil. And when that happens, you know, the people are going to die if the land can't feed them. We are the land, and we got to feed the people. And we got to allow our seed to be other people's seed and water it with our empathy, water it with our tolerance, water it with our ability to relate to it, you know. So I want to give you a heads up for what you're doing, brother, and reaching out and just being that. Now I'm not gonna say you've been a star. You've been your own universe. You've been your own galaxy, and you're bringing people into your vortex that you want to circle around your gravity. So that's what's up, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you for that.
Much
Definitely.
appreciated, man. Much
Mm-hmm.
appreciated. I think we
Mm-hmm.
are necessary for the inner children of the world.
The inner children of Russ. So, and me, I'm a writer. So, there's a lot of stuff you saying, my brother. I'm just
Yeah.
writing it down, and that could
Yeah.
be other conversations. What we talking about, because those are things to help us remember what we are under the beliefs we have that we're not enough, that we can't do it. Once we release that, it's like a way down balloon. You release it, it's gonna fly so high, like it's gonna fly out of sight. Like, whoa! That's what we need to
Facts.
do. Like, get out of sight, man. Fly higher.
Facts.
So that we're here
Facts.
for. Show 'em how to fly higher, man.
Facts.
So then,
It's
closing,
a
man.
blessing.
Anything you want to say? Any question you want to ask before we get out of here, brother? Cause I don't want to take up too much of your currency, your
Yeah.
time. You know.
Yeah. Nah. We good, man. I just encourage everybody that'll find this live in the future. You know, deal with that inner child. You know, that inner child is the true you. There's so many layers of us that we have been given. There's so many layers of us that we have been indoctrinated with, so many layers of us that have been injected into us that it's hard for us to find who we truly are, you know. So many different vacuums and so many trains of thought and all in different directions, you know. But the true you is that inner child, you know, that inner child that you put in your shadows, that inner child you in your closet, you know, that inner child that may not be acceptable by the world. So because that inner child is not accepted by the world, you keep that inner child in the back to save face before the world. You know, that inner child is going to become something that the world needs. So don't shove away your inner child to be accepted by the world. Embrace that inner child, and the world will come as a result of the flourishing of that inner child. So it's going to take patience. You know, you want to be accepted by the world now, so that pushes you to make an image that's going to make you accepted by the world now. And that inner child is not accepted by the world now. You know, people can't eat from a seed, you know. But if you sit down and you take time to flourish that inner child, work on that inner child, those who are meant to love you and those who are meant to accept you will come. If you create an image, you'll have everybody in the world coming to you, people with different motives, people who are not true, people who don't really care. They just with you for the glory of the image you created. But when you flourish that inner child and say, you know what, you know, let me find out who I am so I can gravitate the right people towards me, and you start dealing with that inner child, you will get people to accept you. But as opposed to creating an image for everybody to accept you, the people who accept you now will be those who cultivate you and grow you and help you to ascend and become the greatest version of yourself. So don't neglect your inner child. Deal with your inner child. And me and the Monster Thug, we will be here to help you do that.
So my spirit just asked me to ask you, share with me a tool that you use to help you turn your anxiety to your fuel.
The tool that I use to help turn my anxiety is becoming present with that inner child, and not to beat a dead horse, not being in the future with that inner child, not being in the past with that inner child, but really saying, really understanding that the root of my anxiety is that I don't know that inner child and I don't understand that inner child. So I don't know if that inner child will be prepared for the future that is coming. And maybe the root of my depression is seeing that inner child as a victim, but understanding that whether future or whether past, all of my issues were coming not from me, not from this image, but from that inner child that's in my closet crying. So let me sit down and conversate with this inner child and let me become the entity that becomes everything that that inner child needs. And surprise, surprise, that's your ministry, that's your purpose, because everybody you're sent to help is exactly like that inner child. So that inner child helps tune you into the person you need to be to fulfill your purpose. So for me, it all started with loving the parts of me that was the most rejected, grabbing that inner child, holding that inner child, hugging that inner child, and saying, I love you. I accept you. I will never leave you. I will never betray you. I will never abandon you. Everything you look for God to be, I will be that God to my inner child. And in that way, that inner child will connect with God who created me. Right. Yeah. Becoming the God who you worship. That's what church don't teach us. It teaches us to worship God as something distant, but it never teaches us to embody that God. So embody that God with your inner child. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. I will always be there for you. I will be here with you to the end of time. If your father ran out on you, I won't run out on you. If people rejected you, I'll never reject you. If people said you were hard to love, I'll always be here to love you. Become what you always needed. Unfortunately, we don't have the love to say, hey, this is what I need in life. We had the hate. So we could reverse engineer that and say, I'm going to use this hate to know what I don't want to be. I'm going to use this hate to know what I need to be. And now fill in all the areas where that hate is being allowed to grow. Fill those areas in with love. And for me, the blueprint of how to love, how to fill those areas in, was in how my Creator loved me and how He created me, and waking me up every day and allowing me to be healthy, have all of my functions, and allowing me to be whole after going through the trauma that I went through. I said, okay, this makes me feel like the universe or the Creator believes in me because He never gave up on me. So let me exercise everything that I've understood by the grace given to me by the Creator, and let me exercise that in loving some of the unlovable parts of myself, parts of me that have made the mistakes, that have done the things that negatively impacted my life. And I say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I hate myself for doing that. And saying, hey, I'm the one living the life. So if anybody can embody the energy of hate towards self, it could be me, because I'm the one living in the mistakes that I've done. But no, I'm going to choose to love you. And if I love you and I'm the one living in the mistakes that you made, then that means that you are lovable, and that means nobody else's inability to love you should matter anymore, because I love you. So, you know, self-love was what got me started. Yeah.
I'm just letting all that soak in right now. That's what I'm doing. It's a breath of fresh air to hear you speak the way you speak, because it's a new blueprint of how to heal, going from the inside out, and accepting yourself with your wholeness, the shadow side, the child work, the inner child. And when we do that, and we're able to love ourselves unconditionally, the energy is alchemized, and now is recontextualized. Like you said, re-engineering that hate, re-engineering that envy. And I'm using that as my fuel, because at the essence of all of that, it's still coming from the source of love. So when we dig through all that foolishness and get to the core of it, it's definitely love. And I asked you that core just to see what your source was, and both of our core sources is unconditional love. So that's our common bond, is to be able to heal is unconditionally loving our inner child and accepting ourselves just how we show up.
Right.
Mm,
They say God is love, so that's the
mm.
beginning of accurately expressing what God is, because God has become so ambiguous now. So, what is God? What is we become the expression of, as we walk in unconditional love.
Man, wow. I'm gonna say this right here, and I'm really gonna get out of here. When
Yeah,
you just said about God, when we look at that, hmm, it's an illusion because we got pictures of demons, we got pictures of everything. We don't have a picture of God. It
right,
makes us want to make it up, and it's a reason for that because it's an invisible entity that you can't see. So
right,
once you understand that, start looking at these different images where they're showing us what these demons and so-called pictures of Satan and so-called devil, which are two different people.
right,
Don't heal with that. Focus on your healing. Focus on that invisible. Focus on your breath. Focus on, because when we breathe, your breath don't ask you your credit score. Your breath don't ask you what your nationality is. It don't ask you your sexual appetite. It don't ask you if you eat meat.
right,
If you're able to breathe in and out, you got to accept them. That's all you need. Everything else is just fuel for that ego that's gonna take you away when you're true,
yeah,
high organic self, man. So understanding that and talking about on that same level, it's gonna just, if you on fire and your fire is matter of fact, we might not be on fire, but you see a fire of logs. If you put that
right,
log in the fire that's already on fire, watch how fast it catch fire. Watch how
right,
fast it be part of that same fire. So we're doing the same thing. We're log already on fire. We have another log of fire kind of small. Jumping in fire, brother.
right,
Like
right,
like we have a judge-free zone and we're super vulnerable.
right.
So if we can do it, we're signing other people a permission slip to be yourself.
Right,
To be so-called vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
we take permission, the way it said,
right,
I'm signing for you. Okay, you got permission to be yourself. And now when you do that, you can truly be joyful in this shell we call a body, in this shell we call a church, in this shell we call a temple. The Most
yeah,
High resides within. When you anxious and depression, and the voice is talking to you, you know, like that's not the Most High. It helps me. It helped me tune into the Most High's voice. It's a whisper. It's a slight suggestion. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard that, I can untune for everything else and lock in right to that, regardless of what I'm hearing. I'm always available for that slight whisper, that slight suggestion. When we get there, it's a matter of just enjoying, showing people how to actually be there. Stop doing it. It's not Nike. Just be it, bro.
yeah,
Like I see
yeah,
you being, you're not doing it. You just being there. When you be it, it becomes so organic. It's a habit now.
right,
You form a spiritual habit that when you talk, the Most High catches your tongue and give you inspiration. And you come from there. Like you're not talking from you. You're talking from a higher source. You're talking from beyond time and space. And I can feel it when you talk that way. And that's what these kids need. Somebody that can relate to me. Somebody that used to be me. And the main thing, you see me in yourself. And you got my best interest in mind. And kids and babies have not been unprogrammed yet. They're just coming from source. So they're still connected. So when you get them
yeah,
right there, it's the other people that envy you, that's afraid of you, because when you've been your organic self, that make people nervous. Like, how you been organic? Why you being so weird? Why you can't fall in
yeah,
line? Now I got my own
yeah,
drum. I got my own coordinates in my mind.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Where
right,
you going? And I'm two different coordinations. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
I'm cool with that. I love to roll by myself. Ain't no traffic.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, facts, facts. Get the way you need to go.
Yeah. So man,
Right.
yeah,
It's a
man. Hmm. Man, I'm gonna say more power to you. I'm gonna send you my in your deal. I'm gonna send you my 10 so you can hit me on the cell phone. We can let it connect and then collaborate.
okay.
I can see us doing not this project, but actually inner child retreats. You know what I'm saying? As you were
Yeah,
talking, I got one of my guys who's actually from Africa, and we spoke about actually going to Africa, doing actually a wellness retreat, like just remembering, like radical self love, like let me love myself, especially in motherland when you got group of
yeah,
people. Because Qigong said, "Well, two or more gather, we are here." They say in church say that, but that comes from
right,
Qigong,
right,
and that energy when we gather two or more is healing. So I'm seeing things
right.
we can do in the future, my brother, and it makes sync up with you. I can see the longevity of it, not just something off the emotion. It's gonna be 2 weeks. I can
Mhm.
see 10 years.
Right.
I can see 15 years. Actually starting an empire that do that. So we gonna
Right.
work, God, like definitely.
Definitely. We gonna link up. We got more to talk about, as far as doing the work.
Definitely. I just want to give it a test run and see how the universe says yes or no. And we've been riding. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a minute. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate you,
Transcending
God.
time.
Yeah, yeah. When time fly, bro, you know doing the right thing. You know, because it's a
Right,
psychological thing about time.
right.
So when it disappears, when you're in the right, we're on ether right now, and I can feel it. And I'm not. It doesn't feel like I have to strain. You're not coming from the ego. I love it because you're not coming from ego. You're speaking to glorify the spirit, and I can feel that. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God's
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna say Godspeed, man. And
word,
I
same.
love the unity that we have, and then, man, just keep being you, bro, and just keep breathing,
Yeah,
man. And everything else gonna be attracted to you, you know. Keep stay in your
sir.
meditation, stay in your visualization, and main thing, that intrapersonal communication, that wonderful talking to yourself inside your mind. Like, keep it up, man. Like, keep being your own best friend, keep being your own guru, keep being that God that you worship, man. Just keep being.
Sir. Yes, sir. Same to you, man.
All right, my brother. Namaste.
I'm a
Peace.